James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from our KP indexes, it is extremely quiet here on Earth as far as solar activity. That is all about to change in less than 48 hours on January 9th. We actually have an inbound coronal mass ejection along with coronal hole high-speed stream winds. I will show you what that looks like. All right, on the 9th, they're looking for somewhat of a double whammy, and I will show you this. We've got this long coronal hole. It almost wants to make a circle, and obviously we've had several decent-sized C flares from this active sunspot here. Take a look at that again. There's one, there's been several. Most of these lifted small CMEs. There's a second one right there. So 2 small CMEs or weak CMEs inbound along with high-speed solar winds from this coronal hole here. Now, NASA and NOAA have warned for late on the 9th. And we'll take a look at that warning. Again, it's a combination of these two fairly strong C flares that were Earth-facing. Saw one, and there's the second one, and obviously the coronal hole that's Earth-facing. And hey, there might be 3 CMEs inbound. It's hard to tell. No matter what's coming in, it's not going to be strong enough to really affect Earth. They're looking for G1 minor geomagnetic storms for Thursday evening into Friday. So those are headed in pretty quickly here. A G1 minor watch is in effect for late Thursday evening into early Friday morning ejected. 9th of January UTC. A returning coronal hole high-speed stream, or CHHSS, is anticipated to provide the possibility for G1 activity. This is a recurrent CHHSS, and it was responsible for a few periods of G1 geomagnetic storms on the last rotation about 27 days ago. Additionally, as I pointed out, a pair of coronal mass ejections could provide some weak grazing influences should they pass close enough to Earth. There is a moderate level of certainty regarding the coronal hole high-speed stream effect, but low confidence in any coronal mass ejection influences. As always, continue to visit Space Weather Prediction Center. Over to HMI intensogram. Well, we have AR 4334, the sunspot responsible for producing the 2 moderate C flares that did create coronal mass ejections. We have a much more complicated sunspot coming around. It's actually a Delta class sunspot, 4336. In total, including the sunspots that are rotating around the limb, we have 6 sunspots on the Earth-facing solar disk. Now, I know all of my subscribers realize that anything in the southern hemisphere should always be black over white or negative over positive. If not, it's a reverse polarity sunspot, which is exactly what we're seeing here, making it a Delta class or very, very intricate and dangerous sunspot group. Although this is the sunspot responsible for both the moderate C flares that did lift up light coronal mass ejections that could be inbound. Most of the ugly sunspots are going around the far limb, although this reverse polarity sunspot here that's now Delta class could be big trouble here in the very near-term future. Actually, if it went off right now, it would affect Earth. Now, this SDO-HMI magnetogram was taken at 6:30 this morning here on the 7th, and that would be Central Time. Over to SOHO, 171 angstroms. This is from really last night at 8 p.m. Central Time, although technically it's from the 7th UTC time. 0100 hours on the 7th. You can see that the sunspots that are going around the limb currently were active last night, and at 171 angstroms, you can't see the coronal hole as well. You can see that this delta sunspot was forming at the time. Heading over to Soho at 284 angstroms, we can definitely see that coronal hole is Earth-facing, although this was taken at 8:06 Central Time last night, technically on the 7th UTC time at 0106 hours. Now we do see all these sunspots that were misbehaving. They're now going around the far limb, and for some reason they're covering something up here. And this is our delta sunspot group that was forming last night, and this is the sunspot group that's actually lifted 2 light CMEs from the solar surface. Now, all my subscribers know and have been waiting for the simultaneous superior conjunction with Venus and Mars lining up on the opposite side of the sun, and Earth and the Moon and Jupiter lined up as well. We did see some earthquake activity, and we are seeing an uptick in earthquake activity. That was predicted based on Professor Nilsson's work from 1948 that was done by RCA for the U.S. Army. This is all about radio communications and the sun's activity. Now, newer research suggests that 40 to 60 days from lineups like this, we will see a huge increase in solar activity. Again, that's much newer work than Professor Nilsson that used planetary positions to determine when solar activity might be at its peak. And his predictions and his paper and research have been very accurate in predicting an uptick in solar activity. So, with that said, folks, we are lined up, and that lineup should be over by the 9th. I'm looking for a real uptick in earthquake activity throughout today and into tomorrow. And tonight I will do a show on earthquakes and volcanoes instead of the news because of this situation. God bless. Please share and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you can. And always remember that anything's possible. Bizarro world.